Hey everybody, welcome to my RV7 / Pete and Pole Air Camper YouTube channel. I've been trying to make this intro video now for probably a half hour, and I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet and to the point. The reason I'm making these videos is because one, I like to build, and two, I really enjoy helping other people. So these videos will show you how I am building my airplane. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an expert, because I'm not, and I'm not saying that the way that I've built my airplane is the way that you should build yours. These are just for entertainment purposes. Maybe when you watch these, it will spark some ideas in your own mind on ways that you want to build your airplane. The other reason I'm making these videos is because I need help building my RV7. I can build the airplane myself. Financially, it would take a very long time to do it. I would rather not wait a very long time, because I want to use this airplane as a platform to travel around the country and help other people with their aircraft projects or with their aircraft maintenance. So in order for me to do that, I've set up a GoFundMe page and an Amazon wish list, and those links will be in the description of all of these RV videos. So if you feel moved enough when you watch these videos, if they've helped you and you feel motivated in return to help me, I'd appreciate your donation or your purchases from the wish list. So that's it. That's the mission of the airplane. Like I said, I'd like to use it as a platform to travel to people. They can reach out to me and say, hey, I'm building an RV whatever, I'm building a Pete and Pole air camper, I'm building a Stoll type airplane, I have a certified airplane that I need some help with, whatever it is. I would like to be able to fly to their shop, to their hangar, and be with them real time, hands-on, and try to help them as best I can. I might not be able to help. Maybe I show up and the only thing that I can do is help you move a wing from one side of the shop to the other. I'm okay with that. So that's the idea. And as a little thank you, as little as it is, this is an RV7 elevator skin, and if you make a donation or you purchase something from my wish list, I'd like to add your name to this skin, and ultimately, hopefully, I'll have it full of names, and those names and the skin will be mounted at my hangar, what I call Wall of Honor, just as a little recognition that these people were nice enough to help me with my project. So that's it. Again, these are the RV7 videos. You might be interested in checking out my Pete and Pole Air Camper videos as well. But that's it. All right, that's enough yip yap for now. I say we get to building some RVs. Here I'm fitting the W405 angle bracket, and also I will be working on the T410 reinforcement plate for the bracket. This is the bracket that attaches to the fuel tank end rib. This is the rib that also has the wow, I'm drawing a blank. The fuel sensor, the fuel level sensor. This bracket mounts to the rib, and then this will ultimately get mounted to the fuselage. But the only thing you need to concern yourself with when you're getting ready to build your fuel tank, use the plans and cut it to shape. Once you have it cut to shape, fit it actually to the rib. Now the instructions specifically state that this dimension from the edge to the back side is supposed to be 2 inches. You want to maintain that 2 inches, because that will dictate where this piece here ends up when it's on your rib. Of course, the rib will be part of the fuel tank at some point. That dimension again is 2 inches from here to here.
Basically, it's this dimension right here, this longest dimension. You want to maintain that closely because that's going to dictate where this piece, this leg of the angle ends up. This will ultimately attach to a piece that comes out of the fuselage. So you don't want to cut this dimension here too narrow and end up having this piece up here. It's not going to line up with the fuselage. Once you have this generally cut, you want to fit it to the actual rib. This probably won't show up on camera, but there's this bubble here and it's got a nice straight edge on it. You want this back edge of your bracket parallel to that bubble edge. So maintain that as good as you can, nice and parallel, the back edge to the front edge of this bubble. And you want a nice snug fit all the way around on the bracket. That way when you drill your holes you can have really good edge distance, and you can also have a decent amount of rivets. I forget how many they recommend on the plan, but you want a nice fit. You don't want this back here. You want it up front, up against the nose, and then parallel in the back with an overall dimension of 2 inches. Once you have that complete, this piece here is done. Once that is done, what I like to do is transfer that shape onto the T410 piece. And all I did was throw this down, trace it. I'm going to take this over to my sander, my belt sander, and take it down to the line. That way, when I drill this piece, I can match drill this piece to it, and then I can match drill the rib to this piece, and then all three will match. And of course I'll demonstrate that here shortly. So here's my what is this, W405 angle for the fuel tank attachment. I've got my holes pre-drilled. A couple things to remember. You want to maintain a really good edge distance, and the angle on the inside has a radius to it. This where these two legs come together down this center line here, there's a good size radius. It's an inner curve. You want to have these holes far enough away from that so when you drive your rivet in, the head of the rivet won't lay up on that angle. So make sure you put your hole in a nice flat plane so that the rivet head won't ride up on that radius. Now what I like to do, I like to start with a number 40 drill, the smaller drill. That just makes it a little bit easier, I think, to get this in place. Drill through the rib, drill through into the rib with a hole, cleco it, and then work your way around and until you get all the holes. Then you can come back and either remove this and drill it out to final size with a number 30 bit, or you can just leave these clecoed and match drill them up to the number 30, a hole at a time. Once that is finished, then I would add this plate to the back side and match drill it. Alright, so again I have this drilled to the number 40. What I had done was I put this in here. This is just the way that I like to start my holes. When you have no real reference and you have things that could be put just about anywhere, the way that I like to start, again, you want to line this back edge here along with this front edge of this blister. Get that lined up just right, and then take your number 40 drill bit. I guess I can do that. Select a hole, again making sure your alignment is right. select a pre-existing hole, put the drill bit in it, and turn it to mark the rib. Again, making sure that everything is where you want it to be. So this bracket is up against this front edge of the rib. It's parallel to this front edge of this blister. I mark the hole. Now, I don't know if that will show up. That's going to be my first hole. So now I can go ahead and drill that. Let me get my drill set up here. So I'm going to go ahead and drill that hole. Go in there. Well, it'd probably make more sense to actually put the part on first. Just like that. Now I'm going to make sure that this alignment is correct. Still looks good. Alright, mark another hole. Of course you could do this with the drill, but I think it's a little bit easier to hold everything in place if you're not trying to balance a drill as well. Take this out. There's my indicator. And drill this. See, now this one's starting to walk a little bit, so before I hooch that too far, I'm going to put I'm going to go ahead and center punch it. Check real quick. Yeah, it's still in the frame. Just checking to make sure the camera, that the area I'm working is still within view of the camera. Okay, so now put these clecos back in. Alright, and that looks the way it should. So at this point I could leave these in. I got two good points clecoed. This is not going to move. So at this point I can go ahead and just drill these other four just like they are, just drive them right on through the rib. And that's that. Alright, let me get that done and then we'll go back to the 410 piece that goes on this back side. So now over on the drill press, I like to do this on the drill press just because this material is pretty thick. Chances are pretty good I would drill pretty straight through it, since this is so thick it acts as a drill guide. But it is aluminum, so it's relatively soft, and I just feel better doing it on my drill press than by hand. So I've got the clecos in. Because I have the clecos in, I use this piece of wood to hold the piece up off of the deck so that these clecos don't interfere with this rocking or being something other than perpendicular to the blade. So now I can have my clecos off the edge of the wood so this can stay nice and flat. Let me lower this. Alright, so now I can go ahead and drill these other holes. I've got a, I think this is a 6-inch number 40 drill. Alright, I'm going to stop there. Put in a couple more clecos. I like to keep things with as many clecos as possible in them, just to make sure that the alignment is going to stay as good as it can. The more clecos you have in it, the more stable it will be, and you can almost be guaranteed that your holes and your alignment will be intact and they won't move around. Alright, so I think with those 4 clecos in place, that's stable enough. I can go ahead and drill these other 2. Again, I'm using the wood just to keep those clecos off of the edge so that this piece will stay nice and flat against the surface that I'm drilling through. Okay, now, just to make sure that the holes are still all in alignment, I'm going to run these clecos in. Doesn't seem to be a problem. I wouldn't expect it would be. And there it is. Alright, now we can go on to the W10 piece that goes on the back. So to put the reinforcement plate on the back side of the rib, I'm going to use the same technique that I've done for the bracket. A couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, with the reinforcement bracket on the rib, again, you want to align this back edge parallel with this blister edge. One thing you want to keep in mind is you don't want to position it so it sticks out beyond the rib, because when you want your skin to lay on the rib, and you don't want the edge of this reinforcement plate to interfere with that. So you need to have it back far enough that it won't interfere with the skin, but you don't want it too far back, because when you drill these holes, you're going to run out of edge distance on the plate itself. So what I will do then is just position this as close to the edge as I'm comfortable with, without it interfering with the skin, making sure this edge is parallel with the edge of the blister. Once I get that position the way that I like it, I'll make sure to hold it there nice and tight, make sure it doesn't move, and then I will again come in from this side, select a hole, mark the plate by spinning the drill bit, just like that, and then center punch it, drill it, come back, position the plate, cleco it. Once it's clecoed, I can then position it around that cleco to make sure again that this is parallel with this and that everything is aligned the way that I want it aligned. Do the same thing with another hole with the drill. Center punch it, drill it, put it back on. Now I'll have 2 holes with 2 clecos. Now the plate can't move, it will be positioned exactly where I need it. At that point, I can start drilling the holes one at a time and clecoing. And I'm going to go ahead and do that now, but I don't think I'll film it. I think you've got the gist of it from what I had just done with this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes. Again, I'm going to drill them all to number 40. And once I get that done, I'll cleco all 3 pieces together. And then I'll final match drill with the number 30. So I have my 2 holes drilled, and I've got my 2 clecos in. This plate is now nice and stationary, so I can go ahead and drill it using the rib as a guide. At this point, I could, in theory, go ahead and put all 3 pieces together with 2 clecos and go ahead and match drill all 3 pieces at once to full size. However, I feel better sneaking up on it, doing all the small holes first, and then kind of using those as a drill guide to go up to the bigger size. It takes just a couple more extra minutes, but I feel better doing the small hole, do all the small holes, and then step it up. Alright, so here we are. All 3 pieces are clecoed together. It went together really nice. I think this method works out the best for me. It's my personal preference. So at this point, what I'm going to do now is put a 30 drill in the drill press. Pull these out one at a time. As I pull it out, I'll drill the bigger hole. Then of course I'll have to use the next size bigger cleco to put into that new hole. So I'll just do these one at a time up to number 30, re-cleco with the bigger clecos as I go, and this will be ready to roll. One last thing, hopefully, about this bracket. I want to, if you haven't already noticed, I have these little hash marks, these little lines drawn on it. Right there's one, and then there's another one here. Those just represent the location of the hole that's on the rib. So there's a hole here, and I marked its location there, and then there's another hole here. So when you get this shaped the way that you want it, and you have it fitted into the rib the way you want it, before you drill the holes, make sure you note where the hole is on the rib, and then you can space your hole away from that mark appropriately to keep edge distance. Because ultimately, when this is put in place permanently, there's going to be a rivet coming through this rib hole, and you will more than likely have to put a relief in the angle bracket part to fit around that rivet. I'll cover that some more later when I get to that point, but I just wanted to make note again to mark on your part where the rivet hole lays, and then put your hole for your bracket appropriately so you can maintain edge distance. Hey everybody, it's me again. I just wanted to say thanks for checking out my video. And like I said in the intro, if you find these videos helpful and useful, and you're moved enough to want to in return help me with my project, my GoFundMe link and my Amazon wish list link is in the description of each of these videos. And again, if you do make a donation or a purchase, I'll add your name to this elevator skin, and it will be displayed on my wall of honor at my hangar. So that's it. Thanks for coming by. I really do appreciate the donations, and hopefully when this aircraft is finished, we can meet in person, and I will be able to help you or anybody else who needs help with their project, and we'll see what happens. All right, thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.